So the 5 fights, this is stolen from the USA Football guys a few years back. This is how we train and evaluate our tacklers. So the 5 sections there would be tracking, preparing, connection, acceleration, and finish. So I'll go through these one by one, show some examples of what we're looking for. The most important one is tracking. So when we're talking about tracking, we're talking about our path to the football. Closing space is the most important thing between us and making tackles. Maintaining your leverage or fighting to reestablish leverage, simply meaning if I'm inside the ball, I need to stay inside out. If I'm outside the ball, I need to stay outside in. That way we can create vices within our defense and get more than one person on the tackle. So we'll look at some examples here. Our buck linebacker up here at the top, he's an outside-in player right now. He's outside of where the ball is when the ball is caught. His main job is to maintain outside leverage. So as he's tracking the ball, he needs to keep himself outside of this running back. You can see where the pursuit is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody is inside of the ball. If you were to lose his leverage right here, this would probably be a bigger gain down the sidelines. Instead, he keeps his leverage. The ball carrier tries to attack his leverage, and he makes the tackle there. The key thing we talk about when we're talking about tracking the ball is never let the ball cross your nose. If the ball crosses your nose, it means you lost your leverage. So always keep the ball on your near shoulder is another way you can say it. So right here you can see the ball's caught. We're outside in. We need to stay outside in. We need to stay outside in. Keep the ball in his inside shoulder in this case and make him cut inside. If he cuts outside, we make the tackle. Here's one from a safety position now. So our safety is going to end up inside out on the football. So right here the ball's thrown. He's outside the hash. Safety's inside the hash. We're going to attack inside out. This time we're using the sideline as our vice. So if he tries to cut back inside, we're making the tackle. If he continues outside, we're running him out of bounds. Here's one from a corner now. Again, inside-out leverage. This is an open field tackle. So he wants to maintain that inside-out leverage, and if he runs to the outside, we can force him out of bounds. If he keeps that inside-out leverage, attacks, closes the space, and the ball carrier is not able to make a move before we get there. Here's an example with our buck linebacker here at the top of the screen. So he ends up losing his leverage. He ends up inside the ball carrier, which it happens. You're not always going to have the leverage you began with, but you have to work with what you've got. So here the ball's going to the outside, and he's going inside out. If this ball carrier decides to keep going outside, we're just going to push him out of bounds. It's not sexy, it's not impressive, but it's good, solid football. If this guy cuts back on us, if he cuts back on everybody right here, then we might be in trouble. But making him go away from our leverage is what we're always looking to do. The second thing we look at is preparing. And basically what we're looking at here is your body position when you're making the tackle. So the first 2 things to look at are, is it a square view or a side view? Square view simply meaning I'm directly even with the ball carrier. He's head up with me. Some people call it a phone booth tackle. I'm straight on with him. Side view would be anything besides that. So it could be, a 45-degree angle. It could be a 90-degree angle. And then you've got a rear view angle as well where the ball carrier's got his back to you. So when we've got a square view, we want to be on 2 feet. So if a ball carrier's running straight at me, I want to be off 2 feet when I'm making the tackle. I don't want to have my near foot up because there is no near foot. We're even with each other. Any other time, if we're on an angle of any kind, we want to have our near foot up as much as possible. But if I'm head up, I want to have 2 feet in the ground, and I want to explode off both feet. If I'm in the side view, which I'll go through in a second, we want to be in either a swoop or a run-through position. So if I'm a long way away from the ball, swooping to me is I'm galloping, near foot, near shoulder, close to the ball with the back leg trailing behind. So I'm closing space in that manner. If it's a short distance and that guy doesn't have a chance to make a move, I'm just going to run through him. I'm not going to swoop, I'm just going to run. So it's not something we coach up a lot because it's just kind of instinctive to guys. If I have a chance to run through a tackle, I'm going to. If it's a lot of big space and it's open and field tackle, I'm just going to close with the swoop. I'm going to close the space with the swoop. Foot in the circle. That simply means when you're playing a video game, the dude with the ball has always got a circle around him. When I'm making a tackle, I want to have my foot in that guy's imaginary circle. Pretend that the ball carrier's got a circle around him like he does in Madden. I want my foot to be inside that circle. That's going to prevent me from lunging on tackles. I lunge on tackles because I'm too far away with my feet. So I want to step in that circle and make the play. So here's a visual of this. So the square view, I'm square up. We're shimmying, which just means short, choppy steps while I'm staying square. If it's a side view, if I'm close to him, I'm going to run through. If it's far, I'm going to swoop. Like I talked about, this guy's on a 45-degree angle, near foot up. We make that tackle. If it's a rear view, like in this case, he's running down a quarterback from behind. Could be a check down on a running back and a linebacker's running through him, a hitch with a corner. We're just going to run through that as well. There's no chopping of the feet. There's no slowing down. Just run through him and make the tackle before he can get in a position to make a move. Okay, so square tackles. This would be, mostly we're going to be in the box type deals. But you can see here, this linebacker comes downhill. The buck boxes the ball back into him like he's supposed to. It hits up in really tight. I'm square with the running back, 2 feet on the ground, go off both feet, and run through them. The square tackle is probably the most rare between that and the run through. Most tackles are going to be side angles. Here's one with a safety now, number 23 circled there. The ball pops through, and he's right head up even with this running back. He's going to take this guy on. He's got both feet in the ground. Both feet in the ground on these square tackles. Okay, here's a final square view. Phone booth, classic phone booth tackle right here. The ball's headed straight downhill. He's going to try to run you over. We get 2 feet down in the ground. Deliver the blow. Okay, side view tackles. So these are going to be the most common. I'd say probably 80+% of the tackles are going to be of this variety here. So looking at the strong right here, our field overhang. He's coming in near foot, near shoulder, heads off to the side. Gets himself in really good position. It's a really good tackle. But you can see this is right exactly what we want. Near foot, near shoulder. You can see that near foot's his right. He's hitting it with his right shoulder. He's getting a good wrap. Helmet's off to the side. Runs his feet. That's really good. Okay, looking at the middle linebacker here. Side angle tackle. This is an example of what we're talking about on a run through. So he's coming through here. He's the attacker here. He doesn't need to swoop. He's just going to run through. He's got a good angle on the guy. He's got a good beat on where he's headed. So once we get here, we're just running through. Okay, most of the time, we want our head behind the tackle if we can help it, but stuff happens, and sometimes it doesn't work out that way. What I do like is he gets his right foot down, and he's hitting with his right shoulder. So he is still in the proper body position to deliver a blow and knock that guy back.